Hello. So this week we're looking into a topic that not many people actually look into. Have you ever opened up the hood of your car and looked at the engine? Like some of you are probably saying, oh yeah, I get in the engine, I do stuff all the time. But a lot of people, you might know where to put in the oil, you might know how to change the air filter, but that's about it. Like you don't actually know what all those gizmos and gadgets are in the engine of your car. It's the same way with a computer. With a computer, there's lots of hardware, the actual physical components that are almost magical in the way they connect and allow you to do things. And the coolest part is it all comes down to zeros and ones, like really. But before we get into that, let me show you something on how I want you to respond to the topics you selected. Now, if I sent you a topic on Discord, I want you to respond there and affirm that the question is a good one. Or if I asked you to revise the question, give me your revision on Discord. So if that's where I put it, then that's where I want you to respond. But let me do a quick screen share just to show you if I made a comment on your document, it'll look something like this. You look for something I wrote. You know, if you'd like to know more, that's a good starting point for understanding. And this was already in the frame of a good question. So I didn't ask for any revisions. I didn't ask for any modifications. I just said, let's use this one. So all I want you to do is on the comment attached to the question is write, you know, something like I accept, and then ask me any questions you might have about it. Or if I asked you to revise it in that same spot, give me a revision so that we can have some comments back and forth. And in this way, what it will do, first of all, is it'll email me that you've responded. So that's nice. I like that. You might notice that when I make comments on your document, that it emailed you with my comment, and you can actually respond right from the email. Google Docs makes it super easy to collaborate in this way. So you can either get on your phone and do it on the app, you can get on your laptop or computer, do it on there, or you can do it straight from your email, whatever works. Anyhow, this is how I'd like you to respond to your topic. Let me know by Wednesday if you've accepted the topic or if you have a modification by replying. If I made a comment on your document, replying to the document, I'm not going to reply to this one because it's not my comment. Anyhow, reply to the document, or on Discord, if I sent you a message on Discord, reply to that message. And let's have a quick conversation because you need your topic for part 3 of reliable sources. And while I'm screen sharing here, let me jump over to the checklist. I am curious. I know I've had a number of people tell me that they're using this. And this is a really good way. What I do is I list out everything that you'll find in Moodle for the week, the whole thing. And you'll notice some of them, there might be one button, one tile that says computer hardware tutorials. And then I list out what's underneath it. And when you've watched it, put completed or in progress, wherever you're at on this. Make sure that you use this to your advantage. Sometimes there'll be some comments over here that are specific to the actual item. Like here, I say chapter 2, digital devices. And I tell you, read this part last because there's so many good videos this week. There really are a lot of good videos this week. And I tried to put down how long the videos were just to give you a ballpark idea. Like if you have 10 minutes, you can watch a couple of videos and then check them off and make some notes if you need to make notes, whatever you need to do right there. Because you'll be, when you access this, remember it copies into your own Google Drive. The one thing I want to show you that you may not have noticed is down here at the bottom, there's kind of a completion grid just to give you a visual of how many weeks we're in and how many weeks we have left. And these will all link to the previous checklists. So if you ever need to go back to a previous checklist, you don't have to go jump around and dive into Moodle. You just pull this up and you can see whatever all the previous checklists are. Sound good? Good. Well, let's jump into Moodle. Let me show you quickly because I want this to be short. Here's your video, here's your checklist. Always start with there. Start with that as early in the week as possible. And the think videos this week are really curious. So nobody ever thinks about smartphones in terms of chemistry, but there's a lot of chemistry involved. And so that video is going to talk to you about the chemistry involved in your smartphone. And these are both TED Talks. The next one is the self-assembling computer chips of the future. That's curious. That involves some artificial intelligence, some robotics, and a lot of really deep thinking. Now, this next section, learn, these all have multiple parts. If you looked at the checklist, you can see they all three of them in the learn section have multiple parts. And they're really, really interesting. One of the ones that I liked the most, and this hard drive one, because a hard drive, that's what's behind me in the picture. A hard drive is kind of like a record player, but it's magnetic and it holds your information. But how does that actually work? And it has to do with blades of grass on a football field and an airplane. And so I'll just let you watch that video to figure out what that's all about. Anyhow, each of these has several videos that you'll find very interesting, like what happens when you actually push the button and turn your computer on. There's a whole process of things that happen before you get to your desktop. So watch that, it's really short, and find out what happens. How computer memory works, a lot of people are confused about that. And then this one, I love anything with Legos. She explains megabits and gigabits and different things, megabytes, megabits, all this stuff with Legos. You can't go wrong with Legos. And then we have the GCF hardware tutorials. And what I did on this one, because you have a whole chapter on hardware in the book, and GCF's kind of an auxiliary resource, what I did on this particular one is I pulled out, there's a couple of tutorials, like what is a computer, basic parts of a computer, but I pulled out the GCF video. So if you just want to watch the video for each of these different sections, you can do that, or you can link to the full tutorial and learn more details if you want. And then we have the PDF of the textbook. So far we've done chapters 2, 4, or 5, 4, and this is chapter 2. Now remember, I don't have all the PDFs. I only have up to chapter 5. So when I do chapters 1 and 3, that's all I've got left. You can check the calendar for when that is. Now finally, down in the do section. So let's go backwards, almost backwards. Let's start here. You've got a quiz. So remember, you've got 2 days to take the quiz, and you have 2 chances once you open it. We've got Zoom signups for next time, and I consolidated down the Zoom times because we had 2 times where we only had like 4 or 5 people, which is really not enough for a good Zoom session. And so I've consolidated the times to the most popular ones, and the times that I pulled out have matching times on different days. So I'm hoping that that works out. So sign up, get in there as soon as possible, message me, if that's going to be a real problem. So far, the Zoom sessions have been really good and useful from what I can tell based on comments. Then let's jump over to reliable sources. So in reliable sources, this is part 3. There's a whole video on how to do it. So again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail other than to say you need your topic and part 1, and you need your evaluation criteria, part 2. Now, I probably won't have your criteria comments feedback back until later in the week. So what I'm going to suggest is that you go with what you have, and then we can modify it for the next part of the assignment for part 4 if needed. What you have is probably okay, as long as you have the author in there. And as long as you don't have anything about how accurate the information is, because in most cases, you're going to have to do a lot more research to figure out if that's accurate. So I want you to look at different things. So you have to have the author, but then there's a whole list of other things, as you found out if you did the evaluating sources project in week 2 or in part 2. So that's what we have on tap this week. There's one last thing I'm doing. I'm doing a checking in. So let me click on that. This you'll do in Discord. I give an example more or less. It's a little tongue in cheek, but pretty much I want you to format it like this so it's easy to read. You're going to send me a message on your notes channel that says week 6. All the details are up here. Week 6, checking in. 1 word about how the class is going for you so far. And don't feel like you have to be all like sunshine, roses, and butterflies. If it's challenging, if it's hard, if it's confusing, put that. This is your chance to let me help you. But then expand on it in one paragraph. So give me details. Don't say, I don't get it. Like, what don't you get? Let me know details so I can help you. And then one question you have, perfect time to ask a good question about the class. And then finally, capture your reliable sources topic selection topic here. What's the final topic we've agreed on? And put it here. It's a lot of stuff to do, like always, the big class, remember? But this week is a little easier, I think. It's a little less stressful. Make sure, don't think I forgot the LinkedIn stuff. I'm putting that on hold. I'm hoping that you are still kind of developing your profile, adding people. That's the big thing, finding contacts. I've put that on hold a little bit as we dig into the reliable sources project. I don't want to give you too much all at once because that's a lot. But we will loop back around with one final assignment on LinkedIn in the next couple of weeks. So don't think that that has just disappeared. That's all we have for this week. I hope you have a really good week. I'm available for conferences pretty much all week. So send me a message if you'd like to set up a time to chat in Discord or Zoom, and I'd be happy to schedule that with you. Have a great week.